Okay, welcome to Chapter 2, A Summer Afternoon. Incidentally, depending on the edition of the book that you have or using, the chapter titles might be a little bit different. I think for the most part they're not, but it does happen once in a while, I think. Um, so, Chapter 2 introduces you to plurals, plural verbs especially. So, I thought we'd start taking a quick look at the story and then do a two questions from exercise 2A in this first video here for chapter 2. Um, I'm going to read through the first couple of lines to get you oriented to plurals. First, so a summer afternoon, Cornelia est puella Romana, Flavia quoque est puella Romana, Cornelia et Flavia sunt puellae Romanae, quae in Italia habitant. Cornelia et Flavia sunt amicae. Hodie puellae non sedent, sed in agris ambulant. Brevi tempore Cornelia defessa est. Non iam ambulat, sed sub arbore sedet. Flavia, quae est puella strenua, in agris currit. Brevi tempore Flavia quoque est defessa. Iam Flavia et Cornelia sub arbore sedent, quod defessae sunt. Dum puellae sub arbore sedent, Cornelia legit et Flavia scribit. Tandem puellae ex agris ad villam rusticam lente ambulant. So the first two lines, let's see. Cornelia is a Roman girl. I think we've seen puella before. Flavia, quoque est puella Romana. Flavia also is a Roman girl. Cornelia and Flavia are Roman girls who live in Italy. Cornelia and Flavia are friends. So we have the introduction to a couple of plurals here. We see habitant, so the nt ending, which is discussed below down here. The endings t and nt. The nt ending is a plural verb because you have a plural subject now. Cornelia and Flavia live, or they are Roman girls who live in Italy. Notice also here sunt has this nt ending. This is the word for are, as in they are, as detailed down here in the vocabulary for line 2. So nt means a plural verb is going on now. So I think that's as far as I'll go. These videos are intended not to be a full explanation, but to fortify your own learning that you get from the book. So I'm not going to explain necessarily everything, but I will try to point you in the right direction. This is like a supplementary video, you could say, like a just to help out your own studying. So let's look at the questions for exercise 2A. Once again, the A exercises always ask questions about the passage. So we have ubi habitant Cornelia et Flavia. Ubi, from the first story from chapter 1, you might remember, is where. And then we have Cornelia et Flavia, and then we have the verb habitant, which means to live or to dwell in. So here, where do Cornelia and Flavia live? Notice again, nt, because of the two subjects here, not singular but plural. So, as you can see from the story here, Cornelia et Flavia sunt puellae Romanae quae in Italia habitant. So, I think an answer for number 1 would be Cornelia et Flavia in Italia habitant. Let me just once again draw your attention to the nt there. We had Cornelia habitat in the first chapter, but now we have Cornelia et Flavia habitant. Number 2, quid faciunt puellae hodie? In chapter 1 we had quid facit. So again, that t ending is like a he, she, or it is doing something, but the nt ending now is plural. So what are, and then some plural people doing. So quid faciunt puellae hodie. Hodie we have right here is today, sort of a shortened form of this day, hoc die. But hodie is the word for today. So what are the girls doing today? And I think we can get that. Cornelia. Okay, we have to go down to line 3, which I didn't translate for you. But today, the girls are not sitting, but are walking. Ambulant. They are walking. In agris is in the fields. Now, always be looking out for English derivatives or the Latin root of words that you may know in English. So here, if you think about agriculture, or agrarian or some fancier word like that, it has something to do with what happens in the fields. Agriculture is like the cultivation of fields and the cultivation of the soil. So, in agris, in the fields. What are the girls doing today? We could say today, puellai in agris ambulant. Today, the girls are walking in the fields. So, notice also in the first chapter we had puella. That meant a girl, but puellai is the plural of that, the girls. That goes for this too. Amici is friends, and I guess that's it for plural nouns here. So that's another thing to keep in mind always. Latin is a very inflected language. This means that you get much information from the endings of words as opposed to the way we do it in English, like adding on an S to a singular noun, like boy or boys. That's a kind of an inflection when you add an S onto the end of a word. It's a way that a word is changed or inflected by its ending, you could say. But Latin does this huge in a way that we do not. So you'll see there are many endings for nouns and verbs. These just being two examples: puellai, ambulant, as opposed to puella and then ambulat. So there are two of the four questions for exercise 2A, and I think I will stop there for now.